Hammer gang. Because we always hit the nail on the head. So check this out, my Miami Hurricane fans. Some games got played. Some things happened in our favor. Some things didn't happen in our favor. But nonetheless, let's talk about it. We're going to talk about the ACC championship game. And yes, Miami still got a chance. Miami still can make it to the ACC championship game. Slim, but nonetheless, we can make it. Now, this week video on how Miami can make it to the ACC championship game has gotten a lot easier. A lot of games got played. A lot of things happened already. So now we can get down to the nitty gritty. Well, first things first, Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech is 6-1. Virginia is 6-1. They both got one more ACC game left. If both of those teams win, Miami will not make it to the ACC championship game. Must say that off the rip. Now, Miami do have two more ACC games in order for them to make it to the ACC championship game. They would have to win both of these games. The next game they got is Virginia Tech. And of course, at the end of the year, they got Pitt. Now, Virginia Tech, yesterday they played against Florida State. Florida State is absolute trash, garbage pursuit of garbage. I'm like a broken CD when it comes to Florida State. They are garbage. But they blew out Pitt. Not Pitt, I'm sorry. They blew out Virginia Tech. They beat them by 20 points. Now, Miami yesterday blew out NC State. One of the games that a lot of us feared after Miami took them 2 L's, to SMU and Louisville, whatever. But Miami went out and handled business, probably one of their best games, complete games. Pringle looked like he should have been running back #1 from the beginning of the year, but that's neither here nor there. It seems like Pringle's the best at hitting all the A-gaps, because the A-gaps is all over the field. The A-gap is from the left to the right, all the way from, the East Coast to the West Coast, according to Shannon Dawson. But anyways, man, great win for Miami. Complete game for Miami. Total domination. So now we got 2 more games and we got to get these dubs, not just for the ACC championship possibilities, but for the college football playoffs. We're going to talk about that in a separate video, but we're going to focus on the ACC championship game and Miami's, possibilities or whatever. And these things, now that we're coming to the end, is a must-have. We must have these things happen or we will not make it. I know some of y'all already gave up on it, and, that's tough. But as long as there's a possibility, as long as there's a will and a way, we'll talk about it. If things don't go our way, then, it is what it is. We won't be there. And that's that. And, it is what it is. But before I get into the rest of this scenario, do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel and all that good stuff. But make sure you hit the like button. Help the channel a lot. But so Miami need to handle business. Beat Virginia Tech, beat Pitt. Cool. We got that down pat. Bam. Now, we do need some help. SMU is our biggest foe right now. Like I already told you guys, if Virginia and Georgia Tech win, both of them, we're done. We're out. They only got 1 losses. They win their next ACC games, then they'll finish with 1 loss each. So we'll be done from that whatever. So the only odd guys out is us and Pitt. Now, Pitt plays Georgia Tech, and Pitt plays Miami. So here's what we need from Pitt. Beat Georgia Tech. That's it. That's it. Their next game is Georgia Tech. Beat Georgia Tech. That's all we need from Pitt. If Pitt beats Georgia Tech, that'll give Georgia Tech the 2nd loss in the tiebreak. As long as Miami beat Pitt in a tie-breaking scenario, Miami will be over Georgia Tech. As long as Miami beat Pitt, they'll be over Georgia Tech and Pitt. So that'll be 2 eliminations by Pitt just winning against Georgia Tech. Boom. Virginia, their last game is Virginia Tech. We don't necessarily need Virginia Tech to lose. We don't necessarily need Virginia to lose, but it would be better for them to lose because now they would have 2 losses and would, put them in a tie-breaking scenario where, hey, Miami beats Virginia Tech. You guys lost to Virginia Tech. So, Miami would be more favored over a 2-loss Virginia team, just like they would be more favored over a 2-loss Georgia Tech team, and definitely be more favored over a 2-loss Pitt team because Miami gave Pitt that second loss. Okay. The only other piece to this puzzle is SMU. SMU has 1 loss, but they also got a win over Miami. So now we need SMU to lose these next 2 games. Yes, we need SMU to lose these next 2 games. We need them to lose to Louisville, and we need them to lose to Cal. Now, let's just say they don't lose to Cal. Let's say they lose to Louisville, but they don't lose to Cal. Then SMU and Miami will play each other for the ACC championship as long as all the other scenarios I told you happens. That's it. Pitt, take care of Georgia Tech. Miami take care of their next 2 games. And, Virginia loses to Virginia Tech. And, SMU lose their next 2 games. But if all the other stuff happen and, SMU only lose 1, or even if SMU doesn't lose another one, it'll put Miami in great position to get in. So that's all we got to do. Take care of business and hope some of these things happen. Miami win their next 2, beating Pitt and, beating Virginia Tech. Virginia lose to Virginia Tech. Georgia Tech lose to Pitt. And, SMU lose their next 2 games. Thank God Duke is out of the way because listen to the playoff committee talk about them possibly winning the ACC and then, not making the playoffs and something like that. That's tragic. If you're an ACC, guy or whatever, you would hate to see that happen. An ACC champion that can't get into the playoff because Group of 5 champions are valued more higher than you. That's tough. I will say this, though. A lot need to happen for Miami to get into this ACC championship. I don't expect SMU to lose 3 games straight or whatever. I do expect them to basically drop one of these games in the next 2 games or whatever. But if they don't, then clearly, they'll go into the playoffs. They're going to be in the ACC championship game or whatever based on certain situation. Let's just say, Georgia Tech handle business against Pitt. Georgia Tech would be 7-1 in the ACC. Boom. Virginia handle business against Virginia Tech. Boom. They'll be in. Now, also, SMU handles business against Louisville and against Cal at the end. So, boom, they're 7-1. You got 3 teams now that are 7-1, all handle business. This would be terrible for Miami. Miami would have no chance of getting into the college football playoffs, even if they win out, if this scenario were to happen. So you got 3 teams now, 7-1. SMU, Georgia Tech, and Virginia. Now, I have not looked up the scenario in which Georgia Tech, Virginia, and SMU schedules collide, who they played and all that. I have not looked into that because hopefully that doesn't happen. But if it does, then I'll do that next. But as of right now, we're just going to focus on Miami. Miami winning out, and this is what needs to happen for Miami to get into the ACC championship game. Let me summarize this again. Miami win their next 2 games. They beat Virginia Tech and Pitt. Pitt also beat Georgia Tech. Boom. Also, Virginia loses to Virginia Tech. And SMU, of course, loses to Louisville and Cal at the end. That's the best scenario for Miami right there. That's the best scenario. That's going to be a tough task, my boy. But that's tough.